Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. As you've seen in the last video, I had a U-joint issue. I had to wait, go get those exchanged so we can finish that up. But we're going to install the brakes, brake lines, all the springs, shoes. So let's go do it. Yeah, I got everything laid out, what we need to reinstall all the brakes, the wheel cylinder, the brake adjuster, line, and we got the backing plate, shaft out. I don't know what you want to call it, the outer drive shaft, whatever. Sitting in the vise, so let's get to it. The first thing I'm going to install is the wheel cylinder and the emergency brake bracket. It slides into the two grooves. That's where it sits at. But you need to fish it through the back first. And then if we can get that to go through, this will slide in through the backing plate. Well, it's supposed to. What is holding that up? Might need us a little persuasion. As they I don't understand why. That would be so tough for it to go through like that. I'm going to put the plug back in the back so we don't get grime in there. But it has to face in the back. Let me show you back here to where the lever is facing past the upright, so that whenever you pull on it, it'd be like that. Whenever you pull on it, it levers. So the next would be the two retaining clips. One goes one way, one goes the other, and they interlock to hold that in place. Okay, we got the springs in. Took a little bit of fighting with it, but the thicker one, goes in from this direction, that way, and then the thinner is kind of bent, so you need it. There's only one way you can put it in, so that the detents, there's two little detents that fit inside the holes of this spring. I need way it's looking, I may need to move it a little further, or this one. This one I need to move that way further so that they'll clip together. Try not to move it, but kind of like that needs to be in there, and then I need to bump this spring that way because there's two little holes, or two detents, one on each side right there where you can barely see it. It's right there, and then there's a hole in the bottom one. They need to lock. So I'll get that done, and then we'll get back at it. Now that we got the wheel cylinder in, we're going to put the rubber seal keeps water and gunk out from going through that slot to where the emergency brake arm is. That just snaps down over top of the recess on the wheel cylinder, so it won't go nowhere. And now we're going to put the brake adjuster in. As for the brake adjuster, I took it apart because I am going to anti-seize the threads for the adjuster. As you can see, let me see if we can focus in on it. There's flat edges on 4 sides. We'll come back to what those are for. But I'm going to anti-seize these threads, and I'm going to anti-seize the threads for the mount, which those are 7/16 to let you know. And now I'm going to anti-seize the chambers for the wedges. That is what does the adjustments. Now I got that all anti-seized up, the wedges and the adjustment thread. So I'm just going to throw a little bit on each one of these studs. And then we will slip it home, and they're kind of tough to get to, especially if they're on the car. I can see that. But I'm just going to snug up the nut heads, the nuts on the studs. And I gotta get it around this way. Cameras, you gotta work around it. What we go through for you guys to show you how to do things. Okay, now get the 7/16 wrench. You really can't put a ratchet wrench on it because the adjuster's in the way. Snug it up nice and tight. Quarter turn at a time, unless you get a socket. You can do that. You can get a socket on it. But you got to go in above this crossbar, the stud for the shock mount, which is in the way. But so that is in. Now, let's move on to the shoes. If you notice, there's 3 raised indentations on the backing plate. That's where your shoe rests against. So I have some some Moly brake lube, which comes with the with brakes, but not the set I got, but I had it laying around. So I am going to put this lube on just those raised indentations, just so it has a place to ride. They're on both sides. Okay. And then with your shoes, they are both identical. They are exactly the same in every aspect. So there's not a forward shoe or back shoe, back shoe. So this square goes over top of your brake adjuster, and then these ride down in the That's your emergency brake adjustment. This is your brake adjuster. And then you need your pin. Goes in through the back and through the shoe. I'm just going to put it there to hold it in place. And the thing with the springs, they go behind the shoes. They don't go in front of the shoes. They go behind the shoes. So I'm going to put the spring on and a cap, which having the right tool is pretty nice. There's the spring and the cap, which just rests inside this tool, which is slotted. So you want to align that slot with that pin and hopefully not drop your spring or drop the cap. Let's try this again. Get this all lined up. Maybe. There it is. Then just give it a twist. This quarter turn and it locks it. So I'll do the other side and then we'll come back putting the springs on. Yeah, we got that other spring on, so now they're being held in place. Just a note to let you guys know that the square goes on the bottom side of this one because this is the driver's side. It'd be rotating this way. All your pressure from the adjustments when it goes out will be here and here, you know, all the way around. But most of your pressure, and you can see that there's barely a shoe is a 1/4 inch or so from the edge of the casting, and then it's a couple inches here. You want that. You have to have it there, but it's opposite for this shoe. So let's fight with the spring. Well, I fought with it and fought with it and fought with it. I put the spring on the outside. I know I'm going to get ridicule from you guys, you Triumph heads, but I fought and fought and fought, and I could not get that. I pulled both shoes. I put the springs in, tried to bring it around the hub. I don't see if you need to remove the hub to freaking put brake shoes on. That don't make sense. But there's no interference. So I turn this with the back of the studs or the hub or anything. Heck, the wheel cylinder is closer to the hub than it is the springs. That spring. This spring is back behind, but that's what I did. But we got that. So now the next thing I want to do is take the new brake line and plumb it to the wheel cylinder. And the way they run it, it's kind of weird. It goes out, down, around, and back up to where the brake line attaches over here, the rubber line. That's weird. You know, it don't make sense. Why didn't they just have the rubber line coming on that side of it when it's coming out of from the frame? You shorten your your line. But let's do that now. But first, we're going to throw this on. There's 2 holes here for set screws. I know I have that screw all the way out for adjustment. See if we can get this brake drum on, which is not going to go. Why is that? I think the cylinder's pushed out, but I can crack the bleeder and hopefully that will give us what room we need, and I'll push them in by hand. I don't know. Look at that. Just need a little squeezing, a little fine tuning. And I did have the screw for these. You don't need them. Right here's one of them. It's not going back in because all these are for is when it's in the production line and they put the drum onto the axle that it don't fall off onto an employee's head or whatever. When you mount your wheel, it's going to retain this drum, so it's not going nowhere. So you'll have a booger getting these out. I did, but nothing's going back in there. Now I have the brake line attached to the back of the wheel cylinder, and the way they have this is they had it bent, it ran underneath, in front of, if you want to call it that, the upright arm, down around the bottom, and back up to this bracket. And that's where the flex hose, the rubber hose, attaches to it. Kind of wondering is why would they even do that? They got the line coming from the frame in this direction. Why didn't they just run the line from here, bent it, brought it up and around, and then to it? Because the rubber line comes up into it. You know, either way, I'd have to look, but I think that's the way. If I'm not mistaken, yes, the hard line is underneath because it came down and around. So the rubber line's on top. So I don't understand why they just make an S. Have it come down. Why make it go all the way around? You know. And then if you look in the manual, see if we can get some light on it, they have the rubber line coming from the hard line, which is right here, to the rubber line, going directly to the wheel cylinder. They don't have it coming down and around. Okay. Wouldn't that just make sense? So I'm not going to go any further. I'm going to get some information, and maybe they did an upgrade. I don't know. But I pulled a hard line off of this. That's the way it was routed. I just think it'd be simpler doing that. So any of you guys that know, let me know in the comments. The brakes, what a pain. Don't want to have to do that anytime soon, but at least I know that they're fresh. The trunnion's fresh. I still got to do the adjustment. I'm going to wait until I put the back in the car, get the tire on it, and then I'll adjust it. And we'll talk about doing that. But yeah, if you like this kind of stuff, subscribe. Click the bell notification. That lets you know whenever I post new content. Leave a comment. That's an easy way for me to find your channel. And I do look at channels. All I got to do is click on your name whenever you leave a comment, and it takes me right to your channel. And if I like your stuff, I'll subscribe. So if you like this stuff, subscribe. Give it a like, and big thumbs up and not the finger. And we'll see you on the next one.